people who are here, who have the experience, should gather on this momentum ASAP. Because next 5 to 10 years is somewhere you can create a very rooted brand. And this is a generational business. ये पैसा कहीं नहीं जाएगा. This money will go nowhere. All the customers you have will probably transfer their kids' customers to you because we've seen this in dry cleaners. I have a dry cleaner outside my house, has been there for 85 years. He's not going away. He never went away because he did the right things. And he is in the Preet Vihar area, which is probably one of the most costly areas. So there are very few businesses which you can actually pass on to your kids, which actually have enough momentum that they keep growing. And this is one of those businesses, and I believe that people should grow with this, with the mindset that yes, this is something that they can do for a long period of time.
We need to realize the alternate technology is already here, all right? We have already installed these equipment for some of our customers and they are working brilliantly well. Some of them are commercial launderers, retailers who are placed in a very premium segment, okay? The technology is already here. I think, it is for us to adopt, open our eyes, receive whatever is available, today to us, and we can build the entire industry from here onwards.
Moving to new machinery will actually bring in more customers because customers bhi nahi chahte कि somebody is just hand washing their per clothes and they're paying 100 rupees for this from petrol. They would rather pay 180 rupees and look awesome with that machinery that you have. Probably you should even promote this as much as possible.
Does anybody else have a question or does somebody want to contribute to this discussion? Because what we are talking about is something that none of us have seen. We are only speculating what is going to happen in the future. So my guess is as good as yours. So anybody else who wants to talk about what is going to happen in the future of the industry, or anybody who has any questions for Akash ji, for Sukant, or for me, we would be more than happy to address.
Like Sinha sir say, कि upcoming 10 years are going to be very 10x. The thing is like right now the labor in this market is getting very low. Means we are not getting a skilled labor. So how to compact with that?
Yeah, I think Akash sir has answered that once. But
So, this industry, all right, there was a time. So today morning when you saw the statistics and labor was only 32%, all right. I remember looking at my costs in early 2000 where labor contributed 50% to the total cost, all right. So obviously we've dropped down a few points and it has gotten a little better. And the reason it has gotten better is because you have to invest in automation even at your equipment level, right? So I'm going to quote Mr. Tata here, which he once said, and I vaguely remember this, is if you can displace, all right, a person by 10 lakhs, then the technology is worth it, all right? So if you are expanding and you're looking at bringing in something new, all right, rather than adding more manpower, if that would contribute, to your investment of 10 lakhs, you would rather bring in a much better equipment, right? So even if you look at that, what it says is you need to automate, you need to bring in newer systems, all right? And, typically this is something that I have learned over a period of time. For every task in India, we have this habit of having a person, then a backup person just in case if he doesn't show up, and then a backup person if those two don't show up, right? I think this mindset needs to go, all right? People need to approach their work with more responsibility. So as a business owner, you need to cultivate that kind of culture which brings in responsibility. Of course, it may mean that you pay a little more to the person, but then you make sure that you have the right person with the right attitude, with the right skills and right knowledge. I think that should help you with that. And like I said, there are a couple of courses that may start on skilled manpower. So it's just easy to, probably in future to pick from there and utilize one of those. Yeah.
it's a very valid question. So this is a challenge that I'm sure every launderer, every dry cleaner is facing today. And we have been fortunate in the sense that once you create economies of scale, right? So when I talk about a brand like Uclean, and there are other brands also which have a very good number of presence. So we can afford to do it because, like Akashji was saying, that we have this mentality where a single launderer tries one manpower and a backup manpower, which is absolutely unviable. It makes your business non-profitable. But if, for example, you start with one setup, and if you have the vision or the dream to create, say, 10 outlets or 50 outlets or whatever, then that gives you the opportunity to create this additional backup manpower. Because now you have 10 stores. So you can have one, not 10 backup manpower, but you can have one backup manpower. And whenever you feel that there is a problem with one particular store, this backup manpower can be routed to that particular store. So if you're able to create economies of scale, if you're able to create multiple setups catering to, say, one city or a larger part within the city, then you can actually have a greater control over manpower. But having said that, obviously, manpower without doubt is the single biggest challenge in the laundry and dry cleaning industry. We run our own informal school also. We run a small school in Faridabad where we train and deploy manpower across our various stores. And I would say, like what he was saying, that courses are coming up, training schools are being created, and this is going to be the only viable solution going forward.
Skilled manpower is a problem everywhere. Like this problem has existed in this industry. This problem has existed for business forever. So obviously there are more and more schools coming up, more and more places coming up, but I also believe that laundry startups and dry clean businesses do have some HR problem. They do have an HR problem because people, like I've seen people who build brands, people want to join them. I think that if once you start thinking about it in terms of even if when you sell it to your customer, probably half of your employees would turn into your customers too. They should want to join you. So I believe that the opportunity here as an HR in terms, because again, it's much better to work in a laundry than in other businesses. I've done those businesses also. It's much more cleaner and you get to have a much more viable contact with the customer, which is longer term.